Dear Mr. Gitelink, dear guests of the Russian Embassy, ladies and gentlemen, today we have the honor to welcome you all to the solemn ceremony at the Russian Embassy. I have the privilege to present Mr. Gitelink with a special award by the Russian Foreign Ministry, which is called for cooperation. This January, Mr. Gitelink sent an open letter to President of the Russian Federation, Vladimir Putin, in which he highlighted the role of the Soviet Union, Russia, in the liberation of Europe from Nazism. 6 months later, Mr. Gitelink took the initiative to draw the appeal for peace, which was sent to all the leaders in early July. I may say that Vladimir Putin has received both documents addressed to him and highly appreciated them. You and I, Mr. Gitelink, we represent the generation of people who vividly remember the cost, huge cost, the Europeans paid during World War II, and how difficult it was for our nations to overcome its adverse consequences. The Soviet Union, our country, paid the ultimate price to achieve a victory, with 27 million people having lost their lives in the fight against Nazism. We strongly feel the aftermath of these irreparable losses, even today, when we face demographic crisis. Russia does esteem the important contribution to defeat Nazism made by our allies, namely Americans, British, Canadians, and other brothers in arms. But what remains beyond our comprehension is why the Western countries are going to commemorate the 75th anniversary of the liberation of Europe without Russia. Nor can we accept the logic of those who during commemorative ceremonies for victims of concentration camps carefully avoids even mentioning the fact that the soldiers of the Red Army shed blood like water to rescue thousands of prisoners. We are delighted. We are delighted to see that there are people in the Netherlands who do not accept the efforts aimed at distorting history and who strive to stick to an objective approach when evaluating the results of World War II. Mr. Gitelink, Russia has expressed its high appreciation of the appeal for peace, which was prepared under your guidance in July. The organizations of Almela region represented today this event, namely Pax Almela, the Council of Churches, Rotary Club, and Schede for Peace, and the Humanist Union are the authors of this appeal. The document expresses concern about the troubling developments that unfortunately we witness now in the modern world, in particular those connected with the demolition of the INF Treaty, Intermediate Nuclear Forces Treaty. That was actually extremely important for the future of the world. And at the same time, This appeal is imbued with optimism, aspirations for a renewed dialogue between Russia and the West for mutual understanding and cooperation. Many people may have doubts and ironically note that such grassroots initiatives are futile, as politics is designed by top officials, but neither by civil organizations nor by demonstrators in the streets. I can assure you that this is absolutely wrong. The INF Treaty was made possible thanks to the general public, including the Dutch one, that forced the participants of the Soviet American negotiations to reinvigorate their efforts aimed at development of the historic document that secured peace for more than 30 years in Europe, meaning the INF Treaty. I often recall a dialogue at the time of the missile crisis between one Soviet diplomat and one Dutch activist. This Dutch activist claimed that, you know, the Netherlands is a small country, but small country that does not have any political influence. And the Soviet diplomat then responded, there are no small countries, but there are small politicians. To paraphrase what he said, I would like to note that no matter how insignificant the contribution made by the peace movement of the city of Almela, chaired by Mr. Gitelink, may seem to be, your initiatives are always highly appreciated and very welcome in Russia, notwithstanding the fact that sometimes our views on some issues may substantially differ. I would like to thank once again all the participants of today's event for your contribution to peace, and let me just fulfill my very important duty to present you, dear Mr. Gitelink, with the special award of the Russian Foreign Ministry, which is called For Cooperation.
Okay? Thank you.
There's a special certificate which is to testify that you have been awarded by this special insignia, and this is signed by Sergei Lavrov, Russian Foreign Minister.
Okay.
Speeches.
Nu geef ik het woord aan onze eregast, meneer Gitelink.
Mr. Ambassador, you have the English version of my... Ja? Want ik wil het dan graag in het Nederlands voorlezen. Excellentie. In 1992 kreeg ik een koninklijke onderscheiding. Ridder in de orde van Oranje-Nassau. Er waren wel burgers die hem meer hadden verdiend dan ik. Maar ik was er blij mee. Ik heb toen niet kunnen dromen dat ik 27 jaar later, op mijn 92ste, nog een onderscheiding zou krijgen. Die ik zeker niet minder waardeer dan de eerste. Ik ben verheugd te merken dat een hoogbejaarde, ambteloos burger in deze wereld toch nog een steentje kan bijdragen aan de resten van een hoge muur af te breken. Is het duidelijk?
Ja.
Want de muur uit 1989 is in zekere zin nog niet verdwenen. Nog in 1983 was in Den Haag een demonstratie met 550.000 burgers om te protesteren tegen de plaatsing van nieuwe kruisraketten, gericht op Rusland. Dat was hier op het Malieveld. Er is nog nooit zo'n grote demonstratie geweest als toen. Ik word een beetje oud. Gelukkig werd, mede door deze protesten, door een verdrag in 1987 afgezien van planning, van plaatsing. Dat zogenaamde INF-verdrag. INF. Het werd gesloten door de presidenten van de USA en Rusland, destijds de Sovjet-Unie, Reagan en Gorbachev. Het betekende een belangrijke ontspanning in de verhouding tussen Oost en West. Het einde van de Koude Oorlog en de zeer kostbare wapenwetloop. Dat dit verdrag nu door president Trump is opgezegd, gevolgd door president Poetin, verdient correctie. Dat gaan wij doen. De vredesbijeenkomst van 11 april in Almelo, die ik heb georganiseerd, met hulp van de woordvoerder van uw ambassade, Vladimir Naidenov, en een groot aantal regionale organisaties met vertegenwoordigers hier aanwezig. Die heeft daar zich over duidelijk uitgesproken dat we dat verdrag moeten vernieuwen. Wij zijn in het westerse kamp soms geneigd met twee maten te meten. Als er in Rusland dingen gebeuren die wij veroordelen, dan wordt om sancties gevraagd. Als er in de USA of in China dingen gebeuren die wij veroordelen, wordt daar over sancties gezwegen. Wij moeten wel altijd met elkaar in gesprek blijven. Ook op het niveau van people to people. Contacten zoals bijvoorbeeld nu al gebeurt met leden van Rotary clubs. En in mindere mate ook met humanisten. Ik ben president Poetin dankbaar dat hij op mijn nieuwjaarsbrief een serieuze reactie heeft gegeven. Ik heb hem benaderd als lotgenoot, Schicksalsgenosse, wegens het bestaan van een min of meer vijandige relatie tussen Oost en West 74 jaar na het verslaan van Nazi-Duitsland. You spoke about that as well. Met Rusland in de hoofdrol. Russia was the most important partner. Hitler heeft de oorlog niet gewonnen door zijn verliezen in Rusland. If he had not the war with Russia, we were now always in the grip of Nazi Germany. Ik heb in mijn brief de huidige president opgeroepen om gebruikmakend van zijn populariteit in eigen land ook impopulaire concessies te doen om daarmee bestaande geschilpunten met het Westen door compromissen bij te leggen. Dat moet dan wel van twee kanten komen. Het East is East and West is West and never the twain shall meet moet in dit geval ook weer gevolgd worden door but there is neither east nor west, border nor breed nor birth, when two strong men stand face to face when they come from the ends of the earth. Het is een goede zaak dat Rusland, ondanks het stemrecht in de Raad van Europa, heeft teruggekregen. Want Rusland behoort tot Europa. Russia belongs to Europe. Door het soort mensen, door de literatuur, de muziek, de dans, door het Bolshoi Theater en de Hermitage. En ook hoort Rusland een beetje tot Europa, denk ik. Doordat het een ambteloos burger uit het Westen, die bepaald niet kritiekloos staat tegenover sommige Russische zaken, niettemin een officiële onderscheiding heeft verleend. Waarvoor hartelijk dank. Spasibo. I have also a special gift from 1,000 years before Christ, I think. It's from our region, and it is suitable to chase evil spirits. And I have the honor to give it to you. We have also something on it. Russia, Twente, 2019, Mir.
It's a flute. It's a horn. It's an original flute.
When you come to us, I look for a man who can.
Is there someone? Ja, hij wil nog even.
Thank you very much for this gift, and it goes without saying we will cherish this gift, and let me just now to present you with our own gift.
We hebben nog een gift.
This is an excellent book about Russian monasteries.
Good.
You will see all the Russian monasteries here
Okay.
It's something more traditional. There's vodka and
vodka.
Russian. Please. And there will be also special gifts for all our guests.
Thank you.
It's prepared for you.
I will thank also Peter de Grote, who made the first connection with Holland, and there are 1,000 Russian words who are Dutch.
Yes.
And he had the idea that Netherlands would be the second language in Russia. But unfortunately, that is gone away by the French and the English. But we are proud that he has been here and that he has made his St. Petersburg what is clearly a bit Amsterdam.
Just picking up on what our dear guest said about Peter the Great. Yes, indeed, he was a great admirer of your country, and he spent many time here, made many trips, and actually it's due to the Netherlands that Russia managed to make a window to Europe, because he was very, very much inspired by the Netherlands, its traditions, people, culture, all kind of skills. You know, he has been learning the craft of carpenter. Was working in Zaventem, among other things. Yes, and he also borrowed actually the colors of your flag, because the Russian flag currently now is just the same colors, but placed in slightly different way. And you are absolutely right about St. Petersburg. That reminds us of the Dutch cities, Amsterdam among others. And I am Muscovite, but sometimes when I come to St. Petersburg, I can't help but admire this kind of architecture. This is especially true of the building of the current St. Petersburg University. Back to the time of Peter the Great, it was a complex of buildings designed to host various colleges, various ministries of the Russian government back then. And it's actually the same style, the same architecture as we can see in Amsterdam and elsewhere. Well, having said this, I invite maybe some other guests who are willing to take the floor, maybe to make some comments. Please, this is an opportunity. Do we have any persons from our guests to speak out?
Yes, my father said, well, it is a bit overdone, but I think we should realize that he didn't organize a meeting about the Brexit or a meeting about Spain. He made, I think, a very brave step by putting himself on the fringe, and with him other people, to make the step to what is more and more seen in this country as the enemy. And I think we need brave people. And I'm proud of the fact that my father is one of them who can step and be in dialogue with the Russians.